Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Carl Robinson of ACI Worldwide. We're at the Clearinghouse Annual Conference in New York and we're talking about real-time payments. Carl, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Thea. Glad to be here.
So we know that the Clearinghouse is going to introduce real-time payments here in the US. What do you think the impact of that will be on banks' business customers?
As I travel around the country and meet with banks of all sizes in North America and the US, the banks are looking at it in the context of a business case and working through the use cases to support that and substantiate the rollout and the deployment. This is all underpinned by the Clearinghouse's initiative under the ISO 20022 format. That format creates additional data. It creates the ability to have business extensions and to be innovative in how banks expand their business and offer additional products leveraging that data. So that that creates the ability for them to establish those expanded business cases, grow their business, and do it profitably.
And how does that align with the rollout of same-day ACH here in the US?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that I'm getting on the road quite a bit from the banks. As you know, here in the US, there are roughly 14,000 banks. In light of that, ubiquity is imperative, and it is a key attribute or cornerstone of the overall initiative. And so ACH, same-day ACH, is, I think, paramount in the success of being able to deploy faster payments ubiquitously across all of these financial institutions. And there are unique business cases that are coming to light as it relates to same-day ACH versus immediate payments. And on the commercial side, I think the bankers are understanding that and starting to get their heads around the business case that supports it. Case in point, same-day ACH went live with phase 1 in September. In that deployment, there were roughly 1.3 million transactions, or 36% of the total adoption that was business to business. So that's very encouraging. I think the Clearinghouse has done an exceptional job, as well as NACHA, in this approach.
And how do you think banks are managing the impact on customer experience of these initiatives?
On the customer experience side, I think there's an awareness in the banks that they want to create an element of transparency so that the payment runs without friction and freely through the process. The way to do that is they need to align their back office and their approach in a unified manner. What we're seeing and we're recommending is the payment hub approach creates the ability to do just that. It creates the ability for the banks to have a one-stop shop, if you will, for immediate payments, for high-value Fed, low-value ACH, as well as global payments. So that hub approach seems to be taking off and creating a lot of initiative on banks that typically have not embarked on that approach. Banks like the lower-end banks, the agency banks, and even some global banks that are looking to deploy hubs.
And what do you think all of this means for banks' risk management approaches?
On the risk management front, we see risk management as being paramount to the deployment of immediate payments, faster payment schemes throughout the world and domestically. As you know, with multiple schemes, there are challenges of liquidity, of transparency and tracking, and being able to have the forensics in place to track the fraud. As a matter of fact, whenever the UK 8 years ago deployed faster payments in their schemes, they saw a significant uptake in the percentage of fraud online. We were involved in that, and the approach to address it was quick and rapid. And what we're looking to do is learn from that experience in the U.S. And what I would say is proactively look at a multi-tiered approach to fraud as it relates to their deployment of immediate payments. So, example would be having forensics, having a more scientific approach to fraud, being able to look at the patterns and being able to analyze the business that the bank's customers are doing in the payment space so that they have those anomalies, they can recognize the outliers, and then address those proactively. And from a best practice perspective, we're recommending that the banks that go live with immediate payments, and even same-day ACH for that matter, deploy a multi-tiered fraud approach leveraging the analytics from the onset, from the beginning.
Carl, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time. It's been wonderful.
And thank you for watching.